Let's bring in Chief National Correspondent for the New York Times, Mark Leibovich. Also with us, Republican strategist and MSNBC political analyst, Susan Del Percio. Good morning to you, both. Mark, let me read a little from your New York Times Magazine piece on Kevin McCarthy. You write this, quote, as the end of the Trump presidency devolved into turmoil and violence, Mr. McCarthy faced a dilemma, one that has bedeviled his party for nearly 5 years. Should he cut Mr. Trump loose, as many Republicans were urging, or should he keep trying to make it work with an ousted president who remains the most popular and motivating force inside the GOP? Mr. McCarthy chose the latter. Friends say he knows better and is exasperated by Mr. Trump's behavior as other top Republicans, but that he has made the calculation that the former president's support is essential for his ambitions to become Speaker after the 2022 elections, when Republicans have a decent chance to win back the House. So what did you find, Mark, in speaking to Mark to Kevin McCarthy? What did you, I know you do. What did you find in his rationalization? How does he justify this to himself when he looks in the mirror?
I think, when he looks in the mirror, I can't speak to that, but I do think that he has a very, very simple calculation here, which is that he looks at the electoral map, the congressional map. He wants to be Speaker of the House. Republicans need about 5 seats in 2022 to get the majority back. And Kevin McCarthy believes that will entitle him to being the Speaker of the House. That is what he's focused on. He has made the calculation, rightly or wrongly, that he can't do that without Donald Trump. He has to do everything he can to placate him, to make sure that he is somewhat in the vicinity of the reservation here. And frankly, that's where most Republican voters are, and most of the voters who are going to vote, he hopes, in 2022 to make him Speaker are. And it's also where most of the Republican caucus in the House is right now. And that's who Kevin McCarthy needs.
Yeah, Mark, things are a little more complicated now than they were before January the 6th. I spoke yesterday of a lot of my friends and family members who were Trump supporters who voted for Donald Trump. A lot of people I know around who, they're not going to tell a member of the media, hey, I hated what Donald Trump did on January the 6th and I'm never going to vote for the guy again. But there is, as every week goes by, appears to be a little more of a drift away from him. And you hear them asking the question, wonder who's next? Do you is it DeSantis? Is it Nikki Haley? Who is it? And they're not telling the national media because they distrust the national media. That a lot of them are starting to slowly move away from Donald Trump. But you look at some of the numbers, you talk to a lot of Trump supporters, as I do every day, and you sense that is happening. They want to turn the page, and they want a conservative Republican Party in the future. How does that slight shift, which may become a more dramatic shift, how does that complicate things for Kevin McCarthy?
I think first of all, you're absolutely right. I mean, I think it's a very subtle shift. I think if you look at these big polling numbers, Donald Trump's still going to have overwhelming support among most Republicans today. But I do think that when you listen to Republicans talk these days, even at this RNC thing, Donald Trump isn't there. That was someone's decision not to invite him there. And I do think when you talk to enough even elected members of Congress and elected Republicans who support Donald Trump publicly, there is a real appetite to talk about something else. When I was talking to Kevin McCarthy, he did not really like to be talking about Donald Trump. If I could, that's sort of what he said explicitly at one point. He would rather not talk about January 6th. These are not fun topics for him. He would much rather talk about the border. He would much rather talk about the electoral map. He would much rather sort of, use more time-honored Republican scoundrels like, Nancy Pelosi and Maxine Waters. That's safer ground for them.
Hey, thanks so much for watching our YouTube channel. You can follow up on today's top stories and breaking news or catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.